Greetings, Rajee here. Well, I'm really becoming the only media whore. Well, what I mean is, I keep inviting you all into my bedroom. Oh my gosh, thousands of people in my bedroom. Anyway, I'm a little sad, believe it or not, because I can't find my Circle of Life ring. And I know you're thinking, well, get another one. Well, there's a story behind that ring. Oh, and this one too I love. This is from a good friend, Sandy Kay. It means a lot to me. I wear it all the time. But back to this Circle of Life ring. For the life of me, I can't find it. And I've been wearing it a lot since I got it a few years ago. Now, you know, I've been so blessed with the platform that I've been given, and it's so wonderful that a lot of people around the world are really seeing my love and light, but it wasn't always this way. And there was a time where, for whatever reason, a lot of people weren't able to see that. It's amazing how God has a way of taking the very thing that you thought would be your demise and that you looked at as a curse, and turning it into wonderful blessings. Well, okay, so it was really difficult for me to go out into society at one time. I mean, I would go out and I get like so many different looks of disdain and negative judgment. And people, a lot of people weren't very nice. And so it was really, really hard. And it was especially hard if I had to go like to somewhere where there were a lot of people, like for instance, a carnival or a movie theater or an airport. Well, this particular time, I was traveling out to LA to do the Doctor's TV show. And they had me going through North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, and then I connected there and I would go from there to LA. So I'm in the airport, the Fort Lauderdale airport, and I'm walking through. Oh my gosh, and it would be so hard. I tell you, like, just that morning of travel, I would be going through so much anxiety, just nervous about really about the reactions I was going to get from people and how people were going to treat me. So anyway, I'm walking through the airport and I get to the terminal. There's about a half an hour before they're going to start boarding my flight. So I'm walking in the terminal looking for a seat and I could just feel the eyes and the looks, and I'm trying, I've always been someone that really has tried to extend myself and be friendly. So if I caught someone looking, I'd smile, that sort of thing. But it was just really hard. So I sit down and I'm there and I'm just feeling like I just want to like fall through the floor, like just disappear into the floor. And just then I see an older woman walking down the aisle, and she's kind of looking to see where she can sit. And our eyes meet, and there was a seat next to me that was empty. So I said, "Well, this seat is available." So she's like, she smiled and she says, "Thank you." She comes over and she sits down next to me, and I could feel like it's almost like I felt like she felt me. And she kind of understood how I was feeling in that moment. It was really, really odd because it was almost like there was this knowingness, that she she understood. And basically she started some conversation with me. It was really like short and sweet, but like friendly conversation. And it made me feel a lot better. I mean, I started to feel a little more comfortable. So now, fast forward, they're starting the board, and they called her seat. So she gets up and she says to me, it was nice talking to me and, to take care. And she walks and gets on the flight. So then they call me, and I think she had had like special exclusive boarding or something, so they called her first. But anyway, then they called me, and I'm walking on the flight, and I'm looking for my seat number, and I get to my seat number, and who is sitting next to me? This woman that was in the terminal. I'm like, oh my goodness. I said, I'm sitting here. This is my seat. So anyway, I put my luggage up in the overhead and I get myself comfortable. And when I tell you, the whole flight from Fort Lauderdale to Charlotte, North Carolina, we were talking. We were just engaged in conversation. And um, about, I'd say, a half an hour before the flight was going to land, she turns to me and she says, "Let me see your hand." So I show her my hand, and she pulls off her ring and she says, "I want you to have this ring." And I said, "Are you sure? My goodness, I can't take this." And she's like, "Yes, I want you to have it." She says, "It's the Circle of Life ring." And she says, "I want you to know that when you wear this ring, every time you're out somewhere and you feel like people are judging you and you feel like you're being scorned and you're getting those looks of disdain and you're just very uncomfortable in your skin, I want you to look at that ring on your finger and remember that this little old Italian lady, Mama Joe, gave you this ring, and she gave it to you to tell you and to remind you that you have a purpose here on this planet, that you're special and you're here for a divine reason." And when I tell you, I just started to cry. That moment was so beautiful, and it was a moment that I really needed. Like it just was divine. I really needed that in that moment because it gave me the strength and the faith and the encouragement to keep going. And because remind you now, I still had another haul to LA. And so it was like I was already feeling like I just wanted to turn around and go back home. And so Mama Joe was just such a wonderful blessing. And Mama Joe is an example of there will be people in your life that you'll cross paths with, and it'll be just for a moment in time. But that moment in time will be eternal because you'll never forget them. I'll never forget Mama Joe. She touched my life forever. And even though I can't find the ring and I'm praying that it's going to show up somewhere, I've been looking all over. I'm in my car, in the crevices, and all over. But I may not have the ring, but I certainly have the divine memory of this beautiful woman that she says everyone calls her Mama Joe. Her actual full name is Joanne Zimmerman, and I'll always have that memory, and I'll always have that divine message that she gave me. It was like she saw something in me that a lot of people weren't able to see at that moment, but then God continued me on my journey, and I was able to keep going and discover that so many more people would eventually see it. I love you, Mama Joe, and thank you for touching my life.